I'm Debbie Fine, and I'm an artist. I do pastels, and I do acrylics, and I do non-figurative work. I don't know how they expect us to live without art, how they're taking it out of the schools, because I think it impacts on everything kids do as they're growing up and they're learning. When I was in first grade, I was in class with this kid, and I was really into art, and I used to draw these little things, and every time I drew something, he would draw it better. It drove me nuts. He was so good. And as it turns out, he ended up to be quite famous. Richard Amsel, he died years ago. He made marquees for movies like Hello, Dolly. So he went in that direction, and I went into a totally different direction. But he always inspired me because I was always trying to keep up with him. I went to Carnegie Tech, which is now called Carnegie Mellon. I majored in fine arts. For 35 years, I was in the furniture business. And then one day I decided I don't want to be doing this anymore. I want to get back to my artwork. I sold everything, and I've been painting ever since.
Did you ever try, buy this couch and you'll get a free painting?
Actually, it was kids' furniture. It was buy this crib and I'll do a painting for your room. Yeah. When we first opened, I painted on cribs, portraits of the family or balloons or little dogs and stuff like that.
So what made you make the switch from painting representationally to abstractly?
I was trained representationally, and when I got back into art, I took a class at Mainline Art Center, pastels, and I thought, oh gosh, I got a box of pastels left over from high school, I can do that. So I went over there, didn't bother reading up on the class, walked in, and it was abstract, and I haven't turned around since. It's liberating, it's fabulous. I'm very glad that I went in this direction.
There's something about your work that makes me think a little bit of Cy Twombley.
There's a lot of people who are influences at different times in my career, and Cy Twombley is clearly one of them. If I go to a city, all I want to do first is go to the galleries and go to the museum. I need to see the art, and I'm happy to see the art that's painted on the wall with a spray can. In my studio, I'm standing there with these big windows looking outside, so a lot of the colors and the weather inspires me. I'm always attracted to the sky. I'm always attracted to the colors that change. It's part of what I do when I look out the window and I'm working. I'm seeing the colors of the birds, I'm seeing the colors of the trees, the sky, how they interact, the patterns that they make, and those are things that end up on my canvases and on my pastels. The painting evolves, and it gets its own voice, and it tells me where to go with it and what to do with it. When I go into my studio, I will feel like I need to pick up a color. There's a color that I'm attracted to. There's a color that for that day impacts on me. And so I'll put a mark on the paper or the canvas, and I'll put another mark on the canvas, and then little by little, those marks get covered up with other things. And after a long time, some of the marks become important. Some of the marks talk to each other. There's always a juggling act. It's always like a puzzle that I'm trying to figure out. I have some paintings here that say 2011 to 2013, because that's how long ago they started. Sometimes I'll be in the middle of a painting and it stops talking to me, and I will just put it aside up in my studio, so I'm always looking at it. Then I'll look at it and I go, oh, that's what it needs. And I start working on it again. Eventually, I look at it and there's nothing else I want to do. All of the pieces of the puzzle fit. The piece is done. There's two pieces that were in our bedroom, and every time I looked at them, I'd think, they're not quite done. The other day I took them apart, took them out of the frames, took them up to my studio, and I finished both of them. So it's been 2 years probably.
You You have a son who teaches broadcasting at Temple. He's got a big-ass movie camera. I have some jealousy already. All right, here's the son, the professor. What was it like having an artist as a mother?
She's so artistic. It's wonderful. So creative. It's been great to have her. And when I grew up in our house, her paintings were all over the place, and so we got to see her handiwork close up all the time growing up. It was pretty cool.
The reason he liked my artwork when he was younger was because I had all these naked women up on the walls, and all of his friends would come over and they'd get to see enormous pieces of naked women, and he was a teenager, so he loved it.
But did she ever neglect you so that she could paint instead of changing your diaper?
Yeah, she still does actually. This morning she forgot my name, so no, she painted at the wee hours of the morning, and when I was up, from the time I got to the time I went to bed, she was always paying attention to me. I'd go to sleep and she would paint through the night. She hasn't slept in 35, 40 years, so.
All right, you guys, come over here. What is she a decent grandmother?
She's all right. A little rough around the edges, but she's good.
Those of us of grandparent age must not allow the insolence of whippersnappers. Rough around the edges? I think not. Okay, whack him again. Oh, not him. He's the one.
I don't know that I can breathe without art. There's art in everything everybody does. Some of us don't realize it because we're mathematicians or lawyers or something, but there's art in something that they're doing too.
What experience do you want the viewer to get from your work?
I want them to be attracted to the piece initially, and then when they get more involved with it, not be able to leave it. I wanted to move them around, welcome them in all different places. I want to direct them like a labyrinth or something like that until they've seen the whole thing.
And as to how she feels about her life in art, Debbie told me this.
It makes me happier than I could even put into words. I can only put them into paintings, can't put them into words.